Hey there, James Taylor here, keynote speaker on creativity, innovation, and future trends. A question I'm often asked is what's the difference between creativity and innovation? Often these terms get used interchangeably. You'll hear someone speaking at an event talking about how we're going to be the most creative company, or then they'll suddenly say we're going to be the most innovative company. And what's the difference between those two things? Often when we think about creativity, you might think of an artist, for example. That's often a more common way of thinking about creativity. But here's a really simple way to kind of create a distinction between those two things. Creativity is about bringing new ideas to the mind. Innovation is about bringing new ideas to the world. But here's the thing, without creativity, there is no innovation. Creativity is the engine of innovation. But there's always a little sticking point with this because people can be very creative. They can have lots and lots of ideas, but unless they make them a reality and put it out into the world into some form, it's almost like it hasn't existed. It's just been sitting in their heads. So there's another distinction. It goes one level deeper when it comes to creativity. And this is the idea of what we call small C creative work and big C creative work. Small C creative work is when you do those things in your life or your work which are new, novel, and useful. New, novel, and useful. So, for example, if you're in your kitchen and you're making something and it's really tasty, and you suddenly put this spice in that's maybe you haven't really used it before, and so you're coming up with something kind of new, novel, and useful, and it's a different way of doing things. But what you're always trying to do, especially in your work and your career, is do work which we call big C creative. So big C creative is, yes, new, novel, and useful, but it also changes the domain or the field or the industry in which you work. A very simple way to recognize if something's small C creative or big C creative work influences other creatives in that field. They will then point to this idea or this creative thought in some way, and they say, yeah, that inspired me to change the way that I create as well. So that's how you sometimes see big C creative work. And when I think of big C creatives, I think of people like Zaha Hadid, the great architect, the queen of the curve. She did work which is new, novel, and useful and changed the domain, changed the field. Or Oprah Winfrey, she did work which is new, novel, and useful and changed the field of broadcasting. And there's lots, maybe in your industry, there's those examples of what they call those big C creative people. But what we're all trying to do is any time in our lives, we're sitting somewhere on that continuum between doing small C creative work and big C creative work. Now, where the flip often changes is when you start to involve other people and processes. And that's when we kind of start to see this move into what we think of as innovation. This is when we're taking things out and we're making it real in the world. So, for example, if you're an advertising agency, so often the creative work is when we're kind of coming up with the campaigns, thinking about all the brainstorming and all the ideas for the campaigns. The innovation is when we do something kind of new and it's a process and we kind of put it out into the world in a kind of slightly new way. So think about that. Think about this difference between creativity and innovation. Very simple way of thinking about it. Creativity is about bringing new ideas to the mind. Innovation is about bringing new ideas to the world. But once again, without creativity, there is no innovation.